It's a hot Android phone, and while it may not be coming to the United States, at least right now, it's definitely worthy of covering. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and the LG Optimus 4X HD is in the house, and we're going to do a full video review. Now, this thing was announced at Mobile World Congress, and it's packing a 1.5 gigahertz quad-core Tegra 3 processor, a 4.7-inch display, an 8-megapixel camera, and more. So it goes head-to-head against the One X and the Samsung Galaxy S3. Is it the best Android phone in the market? Well, we're going to find out. But first, special thanks to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile to get your phone, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, your contacts, your settings, and more. So when you walk out the door, you're good to go. Is this LG's best phone ever? Is it the best Android phone in the market? We'll find out starting right now. Here's the LG Optimus 4X HD. Now, this thing isn't available in the United States, but it's LG's flagship Android phone right now. It's available in select countries, and you can buy it unlocked through retailers like Negri Electronics in the US, and they're happy to ship it over to you. Now, this thing costs about $600 unlocked, making it a hard play against something like the One X and the Galaxy S3, both of which are $199.99 at respective carriers in the US on contract. So if you're up for an upgrade and you're like, I'm not really sure what phone to get, it's probably going to make more sense to get an on-contract subsidized phone. But if you're a phone nerd, and we know a lot of you are, because this is PhoneDog after all, the Optimus 4X HD may be an option for you if you're willing to shell out $600. Now, this thing comes in black and white. This one obviously is the white version. Special thanks to Negri Electronics for we bought one, they shipped it over pretty quickly, so it was a good service all around. And as always, special thanks to Best Buy Mobile, like I said earlier. So spec-wise, 1.5 gigahertz quad-core NVIDIA Tegra 3 processor here. So it's got a quad-core CPU, a 4.7-inch IPS HD display, an 8-megapixel camera, a front-facing shooter. It's got Android 4.0 with LG's custom UI. Now, LG's UI, think back rather to the revolution of some of these older LG devices. This is a total overhaul of their user interface. Very different. And while you still may love it or still hate it, it has been updated in many ways, and I would consider it to be a pretty substantial upgrade. It's got a 2,150 milliamp hour battery, a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack at the top with a power button over here. You've got your volume rocker over here. It's got a power button, guys. Get excited. Micro USB charging port at the bottom, and then again, a nice big display. Now, in the hand, about 8.9 millimeters thin, if I remember right. I'll have to double check that when I go into editing, but I believe it was like 8.9 millimeters thin. And then you've got, again, a nice design over here, kind of a texturized volume button, which makes it easier to hold, and it's got chrome around the side. So another giant from Korea going up against Samsung, and then of course HTC from Taiwan. You've got another hot smartphone on the block. Now, again, not available in the U.S. No word on whether this is going to come to the U.S., at least, in some other version. Maybe it'll be the Spectrum 2, or maybe it'll be like the Optimus 4X HD. Maybe they'll keep the name, or maybe they'll brand it something else, but I would love to see it come to the States as competition. Now, out of the gate, because this isn't a carrier-branded device, you don't get any carrier applications out of the box. You get things like Alarm Clock, Application Manager, typical LG stuff, but you'll see that the icons are a little bit different because of LG's custom user interface. Now up here, apps, downloads, widgets, and settings are all separate tabs, and you can see those right here. And then I can jump right into the settings from over here. Should be able to jump right in the settings. There we go. And then I can change around stuff within. I can delete applications from here, and then I can hit check when I'm done. Go to downloads, go to widgets, and I can do the same thing over here if I want to get rid of some downloaded applications pretty quickly. I can just do that and be done. Now, widgets over here, we'll take a look at these as well. You've got some Google stuff out of the gate. Then you have, of course, applications that I've downloaded. And then you have things like the calendar and the email, which looks to be tweaked a little bit for LG. You've got a finance widget, Google Plus stuff, because you do have that Google Plus integration over here. News, and then social, weather, and then the weather channel, which obviously is an app that I downloaded. Now, back here, NFC tags, because this thing is NFC capable, and it does come with a tag out of the box, at least in the unit that I got. Comes with an NFC tag, very similar to Sony's solution, Samsung's Tactiles. It's a little tag you can program to do certain things, so when you lay the phone on it, you can either say, put my contact information in there, so when you lay the phone on it, it beams the contact information into your device, and you could have it do a host of other things as well. 8-megapixel camera, like I said. Got your typical stuff over here, music player, media home, and then you've got remote call service, LG World, Smart Share, and then some stuff that I've downloaded, obviously, as well. Let's take a look at some of the interface here, because you've got back button, a home button, and then you have a menu button down here. So you'd expect to have maybe a recent applications button, because it is running Android 4.0. Recent applications can be accessed by pressing and holding the home button and taking care of it that way. Pretty quick and pretty easy. And then, of course, your notifications bar up here, and you can customize. This is something I like about this. And again, I really want to, sorry for kicking the camera there, I really want you to know, if you're working with the Revolution, an older LG device, the Spectrum, the Nitro HD, something like that, this is a huge upgrade, at least in terms of both ice cream sandwich coming from gingerbread and also the LG user interface. As I said at Mobile World Congress, it is a huge upgrade, and it definitely pays homage to ice cream sandwich as opposed to having a completely UI'd version of Android. You can see some stock influences, not quite as much as you do with an HTC device or with a Samsung device, but still pretty nice in comparison to the older version. So obviously, let's say, Bluetooth, for example, let's say you want that up at the top. I can put Bluetooth up there, and then when I go back, you'll see that Bluetooth has been moved over. So I can customize this, which is really nice, and kind of set it how I want. So if I don't need airplane mode, I don't need Wi-Fi, I don't need Bluetooth, whatever the case may be, I can easily back out of that. Now again, back to applications, and you'll see some other stuff as well. I just wanted to highlight one other thing. You've got Polaris Office, and then you have, of course, Application Manager, which you can come in here again, and we'll hit Agree, and you can see some of the stuff that I have installed, and I can uninstall that directly from the Application Manager. So kind of like an uninstall button in the actual menu itself. 7 home screens over here, as you can see, and I can easily access those by pressing, or pinching rather, and zooming out. Now I've got my home screen here. You can see a widget sample here just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Beautiful display here. It's got a 4.7-inch IPS HD display, and it's very nice. Text is incredibly crisp. You look at a background, very clear and easy to see. And then on the topic of backgrounds, there's a wealth of wallpapers on this device which you can access by pressing and holding, and you can do much like the HTC setup where you can scroll through your 7 home screens here and easily add apps, downloads, widgets, and wallpapers. So I can come over here, and let's say I want to change the wallpaper. I can do it kind of like older versions of LG's interface. I can just do it on the fly, and it changes in the background, as you can see. And then when I'm done, all I have to do is go home, and you can see that I've changed the background wallpaper. So messaging, let's take a look at this. Walter Johnson is a sample contact, so I'm going to come into Walter here, and you can see it's a demo phone. 4.7-inch display, easy to type in both portrait and landscape mode. Now out of the gate, it comes with LG's keyboard, and you're going to see some similarities to the iPhone keyboard here, and you'll also notice that outside of Google Voice typing, it's the only thing that it comes with. So we'll say, I feel like this text messaging thread's been really one-sided, a bunch of messages from me. So we'll say, Quick Brown Fox really wishes you call back. He misses you. So autocorrect is easy. Again, back to what I was saying about LG's previous iterations of their user interface, the keyboard is another improvement. And you've got your call shortcut button up here, but your keyboard is another improvement. I noticed autocorrect is spot on now. Very, very nice keyboard. Huge, huge changes over the older LG. Is it my favorite? Not by any means. There's the stock Android keyboard, the Jelly Bean keyboard, absolutely love it. Really, really like Motorola's solution. And then HTC's isn't that bad as well. This one is probably a decent and distant third or fourth, somewhere in there, but still a relatively decent keyboard. And again, in landscape mode, if you're coming from something with a smaller display, but something with a physical keyboard, it's going to be easy to move into this because you've got a nice landscape keyboard as well. So all in all, pretty clear on that front. Now this thing supports HSPA Plus connectivity on AT&T. Does not support T-Mobile's AWS band, but when they redistrict over to a 1900 megahertz, you'll be able to take advantage of their 3G, or their 4G, I should say, their HSPA Plus. Let's take a look at PhoneDog.com. And again, HSPA Plus running right now, up to 21 megabits per second according to specs, but again, that's going to depend on your market and your respective wireless services in your area. Speed tests have been great. We'll talk about that in part 2, but PhoneDog is loading up right now. We'll wait for this to load, and it's taking its sweet time. And then while we're looking at that, tabs here, so I can add a secondary tab and make the internet go even slower. And there we go, the page has loaded. Oh, I thought it had loaded up, but it fooled me. It had a little preview picture, but then again, Google right here, and can swipe back and forth between those. Now again, menu button down here, so for that request desktop site, all that stuff we've seen on other Android handsets, you can access it by pressing the menu button, though I will say they're very hard to see on this white background, considering that the way they highlight is also white. The lighting behind them is also white. So portrait to landscape transitions nice and fast, even when the browser is loading. And we'll come in here to, let's find something else, or let's try loading that. Let's go into, see if we can load up something quicker here. Just first thing that comes to mind, CNN, the most trusted name in news. Do I sound like Earl Jones? Or James Earl Jones, rather? Earl Jones. Do I sound like Earl Jones? CNN is loading up right now. It looks like the data is taking its sweet time. My office is a trouble spot with most of the carriers, as usual. Wouldn't expect it to be easy now, would it? So Phone Dog's loaded up now, and you can see pinch to zoom, very responsive. Again, quad-core, 1.5 gigahertz, Tegra 3 processor, really doing its job here. No lag whatsoever in pinch to zoom. You're going to have a great experience browsing the web on this device, as you do with most of the Android 4.0 handsets. Very impressed with the overall web browsing. Again, HSPA Plus on this device. A little bit of a coverage issue in my office from time to time because I'm right in the middle of the building, but overall, very impressed with the browser performance.